Hey friends, and Happy New Year to everyone. This is the first video of 2026, and I want to start by wishing you all that this new year will be full of happiness, positivity, and of course a lot of horror gaming content to analyze together. Thank you so much for being here at the beginning of this new chapter. Today we're talking once again about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Because over the past few days, Mob Entertainment has done something really interesting. As we saw, in the 4 days leading up to New Year's Eve, they released 4 countdown images, one per day, and when combined together, they form a single, larger image filled with details and possible hidden meanings. In this video, we'll do a much deeper analysis of the final official image, connecting it not only to the individual countdown images, but also to the overall lore of Poppy Playtime and what we might expect from Chapter 5. On top of that, additional very interesting information has surfaced regarding this image, and we'll go through everything step by step, trying to understand what might be a simple visual clue and what could instead be a major story teaser. Before we jump into the main analysis, I'd really appreciate your support. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, it helps the channel a lot, and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any news, theories, and updates. Also, turn on notifications so you'll always be the first to know when a new video is out. With that said, I think we're ready to begin. Get ready, because this image might hide much more than what it seems at first glance. And as always with Poppy Playtime, every single detail matters. Let's analyze it together. Now let's move on to the next part of the video and finally take a look together at the final image created by combining the 4 countdown images. In the previous video, I showed it briefly in the final part, and I pointed out how the 4 images together clearly reveal the symbol of the poppy flower. And let's remember that this symbol and this flower are extremely important for the entire Poppy Playtime series. The poppy is not just an aesthetic reference or a simple logo, but something much deeper, closely connected to the factory, the experiments, and the whole lore of the game. A few days ago, I also posted a video dedicated to this symbol in Poppy Playtime. Every time this symbol appears, we know there is always a hidden meaning behind it. But now we have an additional official piece of information, and this time it comes directly from Amber, the official artist of Mob Entertainment. Amber published a post on Twitter where she revealed the official name of this image. And the chosen name is definitely not random. This image is called Reflections. And just this title alone opens the door to so many theories. Reflections can be interpreted on multiple levels. It could refer to visual reflections, mirrors, surfaces that show a distorted image. But it could also be about mental reflections, memories, broken identities, or characters confronting their own past. In a series like Poppy Playtime, where themes like memory, experiments, and the consequences of choices are central, this title feels like an invitation to look beyond the image itself and connect it to everything we've already seen in previous chapters. It's almost as if they're telling us that what we're looking at is not just a symbol, but the reflection of something much bigger, something that will play a key role in Chapter 5. So from this moment on, we're no longer talking about just a countdown artwork, but about an image with a precise meaning and very likely a hidden message that Mob Entertainment wants us to slowly uncover. Now let's move into the core of the analysis and try to truly understand what reflections could mean in relation to what we see in the 4 countdown images. In the 4 images, we can clearly see the 4 main mascots from the first 4 chapters of Poppy Playtime. Each one of them is shown in a very specific pose, with one hand touching the hand of their human counterpart. And this is a huge detail because we are not simply looking at monsters or isolated mascots, but at a direct connection between what they have become and what they once were. Let's remember something extremely important. These mascots were once human beings before the experiments, and this is exactly where the concept of reflections starts to gain a much deeper meaning. We could be looking at a visual representation of their reflection, not only in a physical sense, but also on an emotional and psychological level. The mascot touching its human version could symbolize the confrontation between who they were and who they have become. But there's more. If we observe the image carefully, we can also notice visual effects that resemble a glass-like surface. These effects really give the impression that there is something separating the mascot from the human side. It could be glass, an invisible barrier that prevents real contact, as if their humanity is still there, close, but unreachable. A deeply unsettling detail, especially when we consider the tragic story behind these characters. Staying within the theme of reflections, there is also another very interesting interpretation. This glass might not just be a barrier, but a mirror. And in that case, the meaning becomes even more interesting. The mascots, when looking in front of them, do not see their monstrous reflection, but instead see their human reflection reaching back with their hands. In this context, the gesture of the hands touching becomes almost symbolic. It feels like an attempt to reconnect with their lost humanity, to remember who they truly were. But at the same time, the glass or mirror suggests that this connection can never be complete. There is always distance, separation, a boundary that cannot be crossed. This is why the title, Reflections, feels absolutely perfect. Obviously, remember, this is only my personal interpretation. Now, I want to focus on another extremely important detail, one of those elements that at first glance might seem secondary, but could actually completely change the interpretation of the entire image. Let's talk about the point of contact between the hands of the mascots and those of their human counterparts. If we look closely, that point of contact is not placed randomly. On the contrary, it is designed in an extremely precise way. As we have already seen, the final image created by merging the 4 countdown images clearly shows the symbol of the poppy flower. The contact between the hands happens exactly on the red line that forms this symbol. This detail immediately opens the door to another additional theory. If the poppy is the central symbol of the image, then it might not be just a visual or narrative element, but the true connection between the human side and the mascot side. It is as if the poppy flower were a bridge, a link that allows the passage, or at least the contact, between what was human and what has become a monster. And this theory does not come out of nowhere. If you remember, in a previous video we already talked about how the employees used poppy gel during their experiments. A mysterious substance fundamental in the transformation process made with poppy flowers. The poppy, therefore, is not just a logo, but the key element of the transformation. In this image, however, the poppy gel and the poppy are not shown, but in a much more artistic and symbolic form. The red line of the poppy becomes the point where the two realities touch. Humanity and monstrosity, past and present, the person and the mascot. It is as if that mark represents the exact moment when the transformation happens. Or perhaps the moment when it was never truly completed. This image, therefore, is not only showing us the past of the mascots, but is telling us how that past is still attached to them, linked precisely through the symbol of the poppy. We've reached the final part of the video. Before wrapping up, I want to clarify that all the observations I shared today are my personal interpretations. As always, the beauty of Poppy Playtime is that every detail can have different meanings, so if you have other ideas, theories, or simply a different point of view on reflections, write them in the comments. It will be interesting to read your opinions and discuss them together. I also want to take this opportunity to once again send my sincere wishes for the beginning of 2026. May this new year bring you lots of happiness and good moments. A huge thank you to all of you for watching this video. Your support is always amazing and helps me keep creating content and even deeper analysis. You are amazing. With that said, all that's left is to say goodbye and give you an appointment for the next video. See you soon, bye bye and Happy New Year!